TC's almost so tight that he, like when we go on a big golf trip, everybody else gets tighter and he just started tight. So it like benefits him, you know, like on like day 10. Yeah, like he's like, well, that's just how he always plays.
It's like welcome to where
yeah, well, that's just where he lives.
Welcome to the dungeon.
I think when I chose to do this, I kind of made a pact with myself. The more open and honest I am about my physical limitations or even my mental limitations, the more I'm going to get out of it.
Basically, I'm super tight. I have the tightest hamstrings, tightest hip flexors. My posture sucks.
Do you work out now?
No, like never, not at all.
Okay. 3 wishes.
I think I started drilling down too specifically, you know, this laundry list of kind of almost symptoms versus just saying, hey, here's what the problem is.
Like A, I don't practice, B, I don't work out, C, I still have the same expectations I had.
I think you do need a genie.
Like I was trying to diagnose it myself.
Yeah, a lot going on. I might need a shrink.
You know, I want to raise my floor. I want to be more consistent with my mid-irons.
4th wish now, is that what you're asking for?
Make that the 3rd wish.
That's a bad wish. That's a good genie, I'm not letting you wish for that. But you didn't ask for that first.
No, I didn't, but you know, we're
I've been losing distance for the last 3 years. Like that's the primary issue. I jumped past that into all this other stuff that's going on, and when it's really like, hey, let's fix that problem, and here's how to do that, and then that'll fix so many other things.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go through and figure out how you move first.
We all know TC's prone to hyperbole, but like he's like, yeah, I'm just like the tightest person in the world. Like that is not hyperbole.
Let me see how far down you can squat.
He's like ossified. He's like a petrified human.
Back in 2013, I worked overnight for Ritz-Carlton.
I want to see you dump the water forward and then dump the water backwards.
From that time onward, I just feel like I got into bad habits physically.
And you and I both know that's not moving, right?
Yeah, it's not
okay,
moving.
just want to make sure.
And then from then on, it was like, all right, got married, had kids, got really, really busy with no laying up. And I think all of that stuff kind of built up into not even bad habits, just non-habits.
Now, you don't snort crazy glue on the weekends or anything, do you?
I'm not like a meth head or something like that. Like I'm not actively damaging my body. I'm just not doing anything additive to take care of myself.
You weren't kidding, man. It's tight. Like hips, definitely really, really tight. Ankles, pretty tight. Shoulder motion's a little tight. It's associating your upper body and lower body. That's really tight on you as well. Your shining light is spine range of motion, which is good. That's a good one to have a good range there.
It's almost like I've just pressed pause for the last like 10 years.
physically I'm in a dark place. Just feel defeated already.
I want to see power. No.
It's an academic decathlon.
I've realized that like, man, I could get away with this stuff when I was 32, 33.
Can you hold this?
Yep.
Sure?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and push.
Like I didn't really notice a shift until 3 years ago, 4 years ago. You know, whether it's recovery time or stiffness after a 36-hole day, like I can still soldier through it, but man, it's not as pleasant as it used to be.
God, that makes me feel uncoordinated.
All this stuff makes you feel so awkward.
I think I ripped my right abdominal there.
It was a good wake-up call because talking to Greg about once your strength goes, it's tough to get it back. You've got a chance now to kind of arrest this free fall and then get some of this back as well.
Tron, what's the most powerful part of your body?
Of my body or just of a human body? My brain.
So I say lower body, core, upper body.
I would probably say upper body.
That's correct. What's your weakest part? Lower body, core, or upper body?
Actually core, probably.
That's correct.
Yeah.
If I just take your body and divide it into upper, core, and lower body, you're going to be 17 lower body. You're going to be almost 18 upper. This is 14.75.
Wow, that's
Very
that
obvious.
much lower. Okay.
Very obvious. Where,
Deficient. Okay.
So you think about when you create this 17, you have to transfer through here. When there's this wicket, it's almost like breaks the chain. So this is probably where you're losing speed. Now, why is the core down over there? You know, it could be a flexibility reason.
Yeah.
It could be a strength reason.
Greg's a million times smarter than I am. Him talking to you kind of peer to peer, come on this journey with me. I'm going to break this down into your language. That is a superpower.
Right now, it's very hard for you to even disassociate your pelvis from your trunk. So think about like your cores, your oblique abdominals, right? But right now they're almost glued together.
Yeah.
So when they kind of move together, they don't really activate a lot. So it's very common that those can get deactivated. So I truly believe some of the mobility in your lower body is preventing you from actually developing some of that strength. So the two kind of go together. It's like, you know, if I'd say,
Like you can't even
if
isolate.
I say here's your
core
biceps,
stuff.
like I say, work on your biceps, right? Doing this can really help your biceps. If the elbow doesn't bend, you can do some isometric stuff, but it sometimes you just go, screw it. You stop doing it. That's almost your
It just
disassociation.
withers away.
Tron, you ready?
I'm ready.
Double plate ready.
There he is. Generational.
Being able to use all these different ingredients to come up with both a diagnosis and also a recipe for how to fix it was crazy.
This is the one that we've used forever, so we can compare you to any player on tour. I promise you're going to be able to hit with all this crap on you.
You know how tight I am? You know how much
That's right, this is
tension
normal.
I normally deal with anyway?
Seeing all this stuff in action, you're like, oh yeah, like I have let myself go quite a lot and it's got real physical results to it.
Like I said, very, very repeatable. It's a small sandbox we're playing in. There's only such a range of motion and different directions I can go in.
Like seeing Neil thrive with this stuff and then seeing myself like, oh man, I can barely get this medicine ball over my head, much less throwing it that far.
The line of the day has just been like, you know, you're 0.7. Yeah, but you don't do anything though. Yeah.
That's what brothers are for.
Yeah.
Drive you crazy.
He's got these hypotheses, I think, even before he sees you swing, like he probably knows exactly what's gonna happen.
Ooh, yikes.
You said this is the weakness, right?
Oh yeah. This is the well-documented weakness. There's a lot of bad shit on film.
Good news is I know exactly why you don't like chipping it.
After
Jeannie knows
one chip.
Oh my God, TC's assessment was fascinating.
Go in your 5-iron posture, and then arch your back and flatten your back.
Yeah.
Now rotate your lower body and don't move your upper body.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Notice they move together.
Yeah.
You would get a lesson, you'd get worse
Yeah.
really quick. Right
I
here.
just can't execute on it.
There's nothing worse than someone telling you to do something you can't physically do.
You're in such a good spot, TC. You come in and he's just like, literally, oh, but you don't do anything, right? It's like there's only upside, which is fantastic.
He's working his ass off.
I know. That's how I feel a little bit.
Your first thing you asked me, improve mobility. It's directly affecting your power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why your power. It's why you don't have power. Like, why do players disassociate upper body from lower? Why do they do this? Why do you squat before you jump?
To load, to get that.
Okay, so you kind of know when you squat, you actually increase your power, right?
Yeah.
Before you jump. Now, why that happens is because when muscles are at resting state, imagine they look like this. When muscles contract, this is what happens. Not a lot of these are touching. When you stretch a muscle, more of these fibers come in contact and the contraction is more powerful. If you stretch too far, you can disconnect, right? So notice you're not going to squat all the way to the ground. You're going to squat to an area where you can line up your muscles and create more power. So squatting actually helps align the muscles to create more power. That's number one. And number two is muscles create power, but so does your connective tissue, like your fascia, your ligaments. Those are like rubber bands. All you got to do is stretch them and they'll get free power out of them. So when we squat before we jump, we stretch the elastic tissue and we line up our muscles. What turns your shoulders in the golf swing? Oblique abdominals, right? So your abdominals is what rotates. How do I pre-stretch these?
Just turn.
Disassociation.
Okay.
That's squatting before you jump. When they disassociate, they pre-stretch the oblique abdominals and then boom, they fire.
Okay.
You can't do that. I asked you that at the gym and you were like, like there's no mobility there. You can't do it. Here's basically what you're doing. Stand up, stand up. I want you to jump as high as you can, but you can't squat.
Okay.
That's what you're doing right now in your golf swing, right? You're going, how do I do this? How do I do this without loading? And I'm going, but you can't load.
Honestly, I thought everything was gonna look a lot worse.
So we're starting with you on how you're transferring through your body.
I thought it was all like lower body strength when that's not the case necessarily.
Red's the lower body.
What red zone?
It peaks first,
Okay. So good.
okay? Trunk and arm kind of together. It's almost like they're rotating and peaking at the same time versus one transferring to the next one.
You got to be able to look at it with extreme clarity. You know, like we could get wrapped up in this number or this number or this number.
Now go look at your speeds. Average pelvic speed on PGA Tour is 500 degrees per second. You're 480. I'm like, dude, hip speed is great there. 480 is awesome. I go look at trunk. Trunk, the green should be 700. You're 600. I'm like, ooh, we just lost some energy between the pelvis and the trunk.
Even if really, really good golf instructors were given that much information or that many tools at their disposal, I think they would almost get lost in the sauce.
500 is normal hip speed, 700 is normal trunk speed, 1100 is arm, and then 2200 is club. You start at 5, then you went 6, 8, instead of 5, 7, 11, it just started to reduce.
I feel like this, I could see everything. I could see all of the inputs and all of the outputs here. Just seeing him translate it all, like, you know, hey, this is what this means, and the sequencing especially, like that was wild.
Now I go look and I go, things like with your brother, I'm like, is your ass underwater? I'm like, nope, spine angle's great. Is he moving towards the golf ball? I'm like, a little, you move about 2 inches towards the golf ball. So there's a little early extension. Can he disassociate? Can you separate? I look at this and I go, you got 21 degrees of separation. Average on tour is 45 degrees. Your separation is 1/2 of what we normally see, right? You have 12 degrees of internal rotation in your left hip. Average is 36 degrees on tour, okay? So it's 1/3 what we said. So the range of motion is lost by 1/3. I want you to understand how important it is to develop this mobility.
Yeah.
You've got away with this for a long time. You're at that age now.
It's going to start going off the
It's
cliff.
biting you now.
Yeah.
The distance is going to keep going down.
It was actually really reassuring of, hey, like my golf swing's not a disaster.
Yours is 100% physical. It is so clear here, right?
No, that actually relieves me because it's like,
Yeah. Like I like your swing.
It's like a fossil almost. Like how do we brush this thing off and chisel all this sediment that's gathered around it.
What's amazing to me is you've kept the club on plane.
Yeah.
That's why you're so good.
God, that's so sick, TC.
Honestly, the most shocked or like amazed that I saw Dr. Greg, he was fascinated by how on plane his swing was. I could just hear it in his voice. He was like, I mean, this is like a symphony.
I don't know how to make that better on plane. It's like,
know.
it's scary how good that is on plane. You've almost created what I call a gate swing. You get to hear everything's going, you put your arms here, and then everything just goes together. Like, it's like they're glued together. Trunk, like everything's going together because you're like, your brain's like, I can't go from here to here, so screw it, I'm just going from here to arms. And it just goes through. It just kind of
That's exactly what it looks like.
It's like his body's all working and all these little muscles working together. Is like, he's like, I mean, it's amazing. Now, you're going to be hitting it like 240 in about 2 years because you're generating no power, but it's still cool to see. Like, he was like, this is sick. I wouldn't recommend continuing to do it, but it is really cool. So it's fun when like the teacher gets amazed a little bit of like, I don't know how you're able to do that, man. That's pretty wild.
We are going to work on hip mobility, disassociation between the upper body and lower body so that you can squat before you jump. Here's the cool thing about this. Dude, in 6 months, if you do this, you're not going to believe how much better you feel. So you're going to do this for your golf game, but you're going to go, my God, I feel so much better in life because your tightness is just going to keep getting worse. First thing was, Jeannie, was mobility. I agree, 100%. Number 2 was like consistent contacts, more stable base, and chipping. I'm really focusing on as your weakness. Can we open the door real fast? Grab your 58.
Chipping's awful, and we kind of did that at the end, and he kind of deduced that very quickly.
There's a lot of ways to chip. Now with that said, there are certain fundamentals that you shouldn't do. I call you the elevator man. You're going up, you're going down, you're going up, you're going down. So your first move is you go down, you start to go up, and then on the downswing you start to go down, and then you start to go up, right? Obviously there's too many variables in golf. We want to eliminate variables, you just added an up and down variable. Most players don't go up, down. On chipping, it's always going up. They're going tall, they're going tall. Yours are going down.
so maybe I need to choke up a little bit when I chip.
No, you just need to stop going down.
Just don't do it.
Okay, that was down.
So it was my legs going down instead of my upper body.
Your
going
legs
down, the
brought
whole
your upper
thing.
body down.
Okay.
We're gonna do mini jump drill. More. Legs go up as the club goes down. It's going up like 0.01.
But it's
It's
just
like
that
it's barely
feeling
moving,
of-
but it's a feeling
Yeah.
of not going down. That's closer.
Yeah.
You going down an inch, you need to feel like you're going up an
Up
inch
an
to not
inch.
move. Yes.
Yeah.
Hear how different that sounds?
Yeah.
Yes. Now go down on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Go down on this one.
Okay.
Chunk. That's what's
That
good.
looks normal.
Just feeling like I've got my lower body involved at all
Yeah.
feels weird. Because normally I feel like I'm trying to just isolate everything.
And which would be
and
great,
just go
but it's
like
buckling.
this. Okay.
Can you thump with your legs going up? Yep, just like that. Yep, just like that.
Okay.
Yep, just like that. That's it. Pretty much like you do in your full swing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
You hear that? That's the
Yep.
bounce. This is your drill right here. That's it. You can't do that enough.
Feels like a real golf shot versus.
That's what. No, this is going to sound really weird. Okay. Eyes closed. Go up. Keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
Hear the sound?
Yeah.
That
was with your eyes closed.
Better than
That was
With your eyes
one.
closed. I just understand, like, as you're going up, it's hard to do it. It's hard to dig the leading edge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's going to get good at that really quick.
He's gonna get good at that quick shit.
The experience was very much what I expected it to be in a good way. TPI is kind of what you make of it. If you want to dig deep into the golf swing, you can do that. If you want to dig deep into the fitness side of things, you can do that. If you want to marry those two things up, that's kind of where the real magic happens. My impression of Greg, truly one of the more intellectually nimble people I think I've ever met. Like, how do you have that many hours in the day to be able to be this curious and teach yourself this many things? First and foremost, just fascinated by him, but also that whole TPI thing is kind of a manifestation of his life's work, all the stuff that he's been working on for decades now. I think it helps you feel like there's a cure, feel like you have the tools at your disposal. Oh my gosh, if he can deduce all of that, then like we can certainly fix this. You know, like it made me feel grateful for my health. I think Greg not stopped me in my tracks, but said, hey, like if you did have an injury or if something did happen, you know, knowing that there's not a lot of resiliency there. Thinking about it like that, of like, hey, you want to put yourself in the best possible footing for whatever is going to happen. This is my fault that I'm in this position, but I also have almost a second lease on life. I've started doing these workouts. I feel like I'm actually getting to positions that I haven't been to in a long time. It's kind of messing up my swing. You know, I'm taking that as a good thing of like, hey, that means whatever I'm doing is working. Like I've been to the gym 4 times in the last 3 weeks. It's like, that's unheard of for me.
What are you doing?
Doing toes up, toe touch.
I've been trying to plug the dam for so long. Man, if I could just physically get better, it would be remarkable. And then also, you know, all the ancillary benefits that are going to come from that outside of my golf game, that's all great stuff. I got to put the work in.
Core takeaway, my core. Doesn't exist. It's my lower body and my core basically fused together. 10 years of adulthood and parenthood and all of that have just kind of sapped that right out of me. So let's get that back. It's in there. I don't know, I'm kind of puffing my chest out a little bit of like, man, yeah, I'm on plane, I'm a good golfer. I just have these massive physical limitations, but the good news is like, they're all self-inflicted, easy stuff that I can fix. It's just a matter of like getting off my ass and doing it. The first step's a big one, right? Now I gotta make a lot of small, consistent steps, doing the 15, 20, 25 minutes a day, doing the work.